Hi, this is Peter, and you are watching Talk the News.
We just had the second season of EXO Kitty coming to Netflix. Congratulations, it's a huge success. Want to talk about your return as well to Korea after this because the first season was very, very different with COVID and everything. So, how was it to be back and to see everyone again?
Oh, it was amazing. It definitely was a lot different from the first season because of COVID. For the first kind of like 4 to 6 weeks we were there, we were kind of quarantined like in our rooms and no one could go out and do things. And it was a little bit, we were a little bit naughty because when we got in, within 3 days, I think like five of the cast members got COVID, including myself. So we were, yeah, because we were so excited to be there. But you know, at that time, it was there was such a major outbreak there, that everyone basically got COVID, which is kind of a good thing because then no one else got it for the rest of the season. But it almost derailed right there and then. So this time around, we were able to welcome the new castmates. We were able to kind of make sure that because it was such a kind of inclusive group, we went out and we did a whole bunch of stuff. We did karaoke, we went to Korean barbecue. We just did kind of like the tourist Korea for the first week we were there, and try to get it out of our system as much as we could before the season started. But you know, it's Korea. You can't help yourself doing all that stuff.
True, that's true. But I'm glad you guys got to enjoy a little bit more this season as well.
Mm.
So in season one, your character had a pretty big revelation at the end. Do you think if there's a season three, that we'll see a little bit more of his relationship with his newfound family?
Yeah, I think I would love to see Alex grow in his relationship with his family. I think seeing more of him with his father would be kind of a funny but also heartfelt kind of scenes that we could move into, especially since there is so much tension in the family after the second season. And of course, like it was great to be able to do some more scenes with Yuri, and get to know kind of like my sister a lot better during the season. And that was probably the highlight for me, was to be able to have those kind of brotherly scenes with Yuri, as well as have that similar relationship with Kitty, in the show. And so moving into season three, I just want to see those relationships get fostered a lot more. Have Alex, you know, as that bigger brother figure, maybe even help with some even harder decisions moving forward. And of course, just seeing some fun scenes between him and Professor Lee.
To be fair, there's a lot of speculation about what's going to come if there is a third season at least. But a lot of people claim that they want to see a little bit more of Alex's relationship with Yuri because it was a little bit short this time. But with Yuri's ending, maybe that's something that can be developed. But I also think that Alex's presence in Professor Lee's life, it made him a little bit warmer, if you know what I mean. Like it made him like in first season he wouldn't even give a hug to Kitty. In second season, he already gave her a handshake, which is progress. So
Oh,
maybe
but it's massive progress. I mean, the man went on stage and played guitar in front of the whole school board. Like, you gotta
getting
respect it.
comfortable. I like it for him.
Yeah,
But yeah, so maybe we get a hug on season three.
I know. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
I hope so for Kitty at least because she keeps getting denied. Um, but yeah, but at some point in season one as well, Alex thought that Kitty would be his half sister. Do you think that could have been an interesting storyline for a character?
I think, yeah, I definitely, you know, it was kind of discussed with the writers and some of the showrunners that, like, you know, would Alex be a part of the family? Like, would he, wouldn't he, kind of thing. And of course, I can't, you know, spoil too much of the behind the scenes stuff, but there were like conversations around that. And so kind of who knows moving forward what's going to happen. But you know, I'm kind of. It would be nice to like be a part of like the Song Covey team. Like I think that's it's such kind of an iconic family now in just American culture and in the world that it would be such an honor to be a part of that. So if we can make it happen, I'd love it. And so we'll just see. We'll just see what happens moving forward.
So we've got a lot of new characters in season two. Do you by any chance have a favorite one in terms of storyline? Of course, not of, in case of acting.
Yeah, because that would be a hard one.
Yeah.
I think, you know, oh gosh, I think all of the characters. Look, the series, and I think which is maybe a reason why you know we didn't get to see maybe as much of Alex in this season, which I'm super happy with. It was such a jam-packed season. There was so much stuff going on. You know, from the kind of Mr. Moon coming in to the K-pop stuff to the drama with Yuri and Kitty and Pravina and Jin and Q, and so there was so much going on. So I was totally fine just taking a back seat and just letting it ride, like just being able to watch it all unfold. So I think one of my favorite, I really do like Mr. Moon. I really think he was a good addition to the story, and also helped, I think, Songhon really create some amazing presence for Minho and like move him forward in a different light that I wasn't expecting. And especially watching some of the season back, just seeing Songhon really come to his own as an actor, and because he's a relatively newer actor. EXO Kitty was like one of his first things, and I think in the second season he was really tested with this father-son relationship, and he just nailed it. And I'm super proud of him, super proud of Philippe, who again also one of his kind of first roles in television, to be able to do a good job. And for me, both like sentimentally and in terms of story, I think that character was like one of the best inclusions to the season.
At some point in season two, Alex plays the coach in a scene that actually recreates a very iconic moment from To All the Boys movies. So how did it feel for you to recreate such an iconic moment, and also, of course, to have the return of Noah Centineo and Janelle Parrish?
Yeah, that was so cool. It was like so the starting with the track thing. As soon as we saw there was track and field, we were like, well, it's going to happen. It's going to happen, isn't it? It has to happen. And it's just, this season really, Jenny wanted to nod a lot more towards, you know, the original films. And I think they achieved that without it being like really on the nose. And I think it was enough that it was so lovely for audiences to watch it, just to kind of be reminded of, because it is really important to the story, because we get to see the similarities and differences of the kind of Covey family. And, you know, and we realize that Kitty is also, you know, she's her own woman. She isn't dictated by what, you know, a previous storyline or the previous idea of what a kind of rom-com has to be, if we kind of go a little bit meta. And so I think adding those scenes in is really important to both the audience and the story. And just to see like them, like, you know, lining up, recreating the shot, and everyone being like, oh my gosh, and all the extras being like, oh my God, like this is the thing, like this is it. It was really, really exciting. And I was lucky to be there in that scene as well. So it was very cool to watch. And then we didn't know that Noah was going to come on. Well, I assume like the producers and stuff maybe knew, but I think he was filming
The Recruit.
The Recruit.
Yes.
I think he was filming The Recruit, and I think they were in Korea, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And so I think they nabbed him for like a day. I think it was literally a day for all of his scenes.
I was actually thinking about it when I was watching The Recruit. I was like, I bet that's when he was in Korea to film this, and that he just hopped to do it.
Yeah, and it was very special. And look, it was only for a day, so we didn't get to, a lot of the cast members didn't get to meet both. And same with Janelle, like it was so quick, you know, fly in, fly out kind of thing. We didn't get to meet them, but it was just, I think the sense of, I would even call it like camaraderie about having, those cast members come back in. Again, just it makes it feel special. It makes you want to work harder. It makes you want to, it makes you realize how important this show is to so many other people. And I think that always, like brings almost like a tear to your eye because there are so many loving fans that were so excited when they saw him in the trailer and saw Janelle in the trailer. So I think, yeah, it was a very special moment.
At the end of the season, everyone seems to have quite a happy ending, except for your sister Yuri. How do you feel about her ending?
Yeah, poor Yuri. I mean, she really got it this season, didn't she?
Yeah, I feel so bad for her.
Yeah, poor thing. I think, look, bad things happen to good people, and I think for her, it's just an important time for growth for her, and she learned a lot this season, not only about herself, but about like the environment that she's in, and it makes a lot of sense because she was very sure of herself in the first season, and she kind of knew her direction, she knew her path, and it makes and then all of a sudden it kind of all unravels, and we see how she kind of deals with that. Sorry, there's like a massive bee that's just like chilling around here. So we get to see how she unravels herself, and so because we don't get to see the result of the her being cut off from her bank account, and then her failing relationship with her mother. We don't get to see the result of that. So hopefully in season 3, we will get to see that. But I feel for her. I feel for the terrible things she went through in this season. She really felt like a bit of a punching bag.
Your character in the series kind of acts like a brother figure to a lot of the characters, not just Yuri, but of course also to Kitty in season 1 as well, even this season actually. So if you had to call out the other characters or like give them like a short one sentence advice, what would it be?
One sentence of advice to all the characters.
Not all. You can just like resume to 5 if you want.
Okay. Let me think. Well, for Kitty, it's always just going to be like follow your heart. I think Alex is a big like. I kind of imagined him in the first season and the second season. His backstory is like because he moves to Korea, and I think he's kind of the guy that's done some pretty silly things when he's a little younger. He's fallen in love, and he's broken up, and like a lot has happened with him, and I think that's a big reason why he moved to Korea, because he needs to find himself and ground himself somewhere. So I think a lot of his advice centers around following your heart and screwing up, actually screwing up, making sure that you make the mistakes but you learn from them.
She's good at that.
Yes, So I think for Kitty, definitely so. I mean, she's living the advice in the story. I think for someone like Jin and Q, not to lump them into a character together, but I think for Q, he wants to compete, and he wants to really wants to make something of himself in the athletics world. And I think seeing the juxtaposition between him and Jin, for Q, I would say Q needs to do a values chart on what is best for him, and really assess like can he move away to pursue his dream of becoming a professional runner. For Jin, I think it's let your hair down, like more, keep going to parties, keep doing this, like just experience life, because it seems like that he's had a lot of pent up like anger and frustration through his younger years. Day should just be a K-pop star. So that's my only advice. I have no advice for him. He just needs to follow. He needs to follow that path.
Fingers crossed.
And yep, fingers crossed. He can make it. I believe it. And then I think for Minho, we don't interact too much. I remember like in the first season we had one or two scenes together. And I think it's quite funny because Sunghwan and I are very close friends in real life. So it's weird when we do scenes together because he's like a student, I'm a teacher. And he should he needs to find what grounds him. He needs to find what grounds him. I think he feels like a little bit of a balloon. Like he's just kind of floating around. I think he needs to find something that'll tug him down. And maybe that's Kitty, you know.
Yeah.
But he needs to find, yeah, hopefully. But he needs to find something.
So I think you just answered my next question, even though I would usually say that you would be biased because your character is Yuri's brother. But are you Team Minho or Team Yuri?
Oh, I'm Team Day.
Team Day. Really?
I'm Team Day. I want it to happen. I know it's controversial. But I'm here to shake some feathers. But if I had to choose between Minho and Yuri, it's such a hard one because like Alex wants. I think Alex is so not in a team. I think Alex is Team Kitty. Alex is just Team Kitty. I think Peter is Team Minho. Yeah, I think. Sorry, Gia. I love Gia. By the way, Gia is like the nicest human being ever. Like she's such a good actor. She's so nice. So to see her go through all that in the second season was like brutal.
So I like to discuss just a few theories, like just 3 theories. This is not asking to confirm or deny anything because we don't have confirmation yet if there is going to be even a 3rd season or not. Just more how you feel about these theories, okay? Or if you were fan watching, how would you think about these? So there are some theories of the fans that want to see a little bit more of Alex as well in season 3. So one that Kitty might be a matchmaker to Alex and her cousin, Jiwon, as she mentioned that she wanted as well to pursue teaching, and they're both teachers. So since Kitty is also from a matchmaking family, maybe she could do as well this matchmaking. The 2 of you.
That's a good one. I've heard that a lot. Heard that one a lot.
What do you think?
Hard to comment on that one because. Because
maybe we're not allowed to discuss this.
I won't discuss that one, but we'll say that things were discussed. No, nothing will not confirm or deny, but things were discussed even as early as before season 2. So it's definitely the fans have kind of hit the nail on the head with that one, but
I've heard Anthony say the same thing about it once in one of the interviews that he did when they were doing like promo for season 1 as well. Like some fans like gave like a really good theory, and it actually came true.
Yeah,
they are very good at this.
They are very good. So we'll just wait and see for that one because I don't know. I don't know. That's why I'm like I feel like I can't comment on it because I actually don't know. But if I say something and then it turns out to be true, that's a weird one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll say yeah. Hopefully, maybe things happen, but I'm that would be amazing if it did happen.
So there's another one speculation about Yuri's future. So as her family lost her money, so they're thinking that maybe Alex will be the one who's going to help her in the future, as well as Professor Lee. And there's another one, a little bit more crazy, I would say, but it is possible. But but in season 1, Alex, he found out that Professor Lee was his biological father because he found out the DNA test for his nephew. So people are saying that Jin is actually Professor Lee's nephew, and that is why Alex is the coach. But so yeah, to get a little bit closer to his paternal family. But again, we'll just leave it at here just to see your reaction and just leave it at that.
Yeah. So for the first one for the Yuri, uh, wait, was there a theory there for Yuri?
Yeah,
No.
that just basically Alex and Yuri will be getting closer together. I mean, some even go as far as saying that maybe Yuri will move in with Alex or Professor Lee as well.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
so it could be,
that's a good one.
yeah.
That could definitely. I could see that happening. I could definitely see that happening. I like envisage if there's like, if we go into season three, like, I think there's some very funny things that can be done with Yuri's character moving forward. Now that she doesn't have like money, and I think there's some very, very funny things. Um, and so I'm interested to see where she goes, that character goes, because I want to see her like, I want to see like a angry, like in a funny way, like an angry, depressed Yuri, like fighting against the system. I think that would be hilarious. I could definitely see Alex and Yuri getting a lot closer through season three, especially because just that bond is being broken. So that's a good theory. I'd say that could be a possibility, 100%. And then the Jin one, it's reaching. It's reaching. Uh, well, look, it'd be fun. I mean, because what would that mean? That would mean he's my cousin.
Yeah, because they say that because his last name was Lee as well. But again, like Lee is a very common last name in Korea as well. But
Mm.
because they had the same last name, maybe that could be the reason.
I think they're
That's
onto something there. I
Yeah,
think they're
but
onto
I found
something
that
there.
this one could be a little bit too much, but it would be fun if it was the case.
Let's just say that. Let's just say we are. Let's just say it. There we go. We're
The
cousins.
cousin. Okay.
Fans confirmed.
It's gonna be all over the news. Let's.
Yeah, front page news. Peter confirms connection between Jin and Alex.
The rumors are true.
They are.
So now regarding your other projects, because you have something coming on very soon. So
Mm.
starting in It's Our Time, which is about to be released in Australia. So can you tell us a little bit about your character, Shannon Edmonds, and what we can expect from this movie as well?
We shot that at the beginning of last year. And Shannon Edmonds, he is a film producer who is one of the love interests in this film. So it's a rom-com meant to come out on Valentine's Day, which is so much fun because I've always wanted to be in a Valentine's Day rom-com. And so he's kind of he's a big foodie. He is one of the head producers at this company called Film Reach, who plays an essential part in the story because the lead character, she wants to make a film. And basically, it kind of goes into the obstacles that arise when you are a struggling filmmaker and trying to do anything by any means to get a film up and running, which I empathize with very wholeheartedly. And so it was fun to kind of play. It was fun to play that character because at the very beginning, the audience kind of hate him because he's the one that's saying, "No, your film's garbage. Get it out of here. I don't want to see it." But then one of the lead character's best friends, she ends up falling in love with me, and then we start a relationship. And of course, that's where things get a little bit murky with the film because I greenlight it, and it's found out that I greenlight it because I am with her friend. So I won't spoil too much more, but that's kind of the basic premise of my character in the film.
Okay, that is very interesting. So you've known, and you just mentioned actually that you can relate to this character as well in some way. That's because you've mentioned as well that you would like to start producing. You actually are starting to produce and directing movies, and you've actually just executive produced a short film called Rear View Mirror. How is the experience so far, and how do you see yourself as well following this path in the long run?
Like as an actor, stepping on as executive producer is very common. So that was kind of like my first kind of insight into what it was like to be a producer, because of course you get to kind of sit in on the meetings and you get to hear them discuss all of that stuff, which was like invaluable. And so, yeah, that's just doing, I believe it's doing its festival run. It's doing quite well. It was my first I was able to dip my foot into doing some horror, which was really, really amazing. And we shot it in the outback, way in the outback, in this small town in Queensland called Winton, 16-hour drive away. And so, yeah, it was a really, really amazing experience. And Sam and Sean are wonderful filmmakers. And I've known them for, oh gosh, I've known Sam for almost like 19 years now. So I know the film's doing quite well. And then I have produced my first short. So I produced a film with the amazing Christine Milo, one of my dearest friends, a film called Scattered. And so that's just doing its festival run now as well. And that was, again, it was on a kind of a rural property. That was more or less a drama comedy. And yeah, so that was kind of my first real experience actually producing something from the script to the finished product. And it is such a rewarding experience to be behind the camera and see something unfold and it not go horribly wrong, which most people's first films do. So I was very fortunate that we kind of were able to string it all together and have a film at the end of it. Yeah.
I'm glad. So you've also mentioned in previous interviews that one of your biggest goals at the moment is to actually get your television series made. So I assume, because I've seen it on IMDb, that you have something coming that is liminal. I assume that would be it.
Yes, so that's it. So it's kind of going through the wishy-washy kind of studio slash production company. Yeah, it's like it's a tumble dryer. Is what it is. So you get to kind of pitch it out to a bunch of places and see what's biting. And I'm so young. I'm 27. It's uncommon for a showrunner to be as young as myself and to get something up and running. So for me, it's in the long game. But basically, not revealing too much about it because I don't think I can. But it kind of centralizes around a Korean adoptee and a second generation Korean who kind of become like brothers, basically, and help search for my adopted mother. And the idea came to me kind of 5 years ago, and so it's been in development for a long time. And I feel very, very strongly that this is going to be like, whether it's a film or whether it's a TV show, kind of this is going to be like my calling card for the film industry, saying, hey, this is the type of stuff that I want to make. Let's like do something together. So I'm waiting for the right opportunities to come up to create the project, because of course I don't want to just like quickly make it and then move on to the next thing. And so maybe hopefully we can get up and running in the next 5 years. That would be amazing.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you also mentioned that beef is actually one of the things that the series beef is actually one of the things as well that inspired to start taking this path. So is it still a thing? Like you want to create this kind of series or movies as well?
Yeah, I am such a big fan of beef because it's a fantastic, I think the first episode is like the best example of a television series and how to get it up and running, like, and how to reveal the two-hander, like, as best as possible, because you see exactly where these two characters are at, and you see how their paths cross, and then you see like, and the direct results of them, making mistakes, which is why we watch film. And so there's another fantastic Australian TV show called Mr. In Between. And that is also a fantastic TV show, half an hour. And that's a big inspiration for the show as well. And I think like the type of television and films that I want to make is very thought-provoking, dark comedy kind of vibes. But I love grandiose stories. So I don't kind of focusing in on a pinpoint for a story is not me. I love seeing that beef just goes out there. All of a sudden, they're at like a millionaire's art gallery. They're tumbling down like a cliffside, they're in Vegas, they're in, whatever. It's just life. And that to me is special because that's what happens. It's just, you get into a hole and then all of a sudden you're doing these things and it's just out of control. And I'm hoping to capture a little bit of that, moving forward for my films.
So you also have other talents before acting, directing, producing, everything. So I've seen you play the guitar and singing. I don't know if this is more of a hobby or if you want to eventually pursue this in the future.
Like last year, I wanted to. Well, so I write, and I've written a fair few songs at this point. I don't know. I actually had a real kind of, I don't even know what you'd call it. It's not like an awakening, but a realization, I guess,
Epiphany?
with music. Because yeah, I think so. I think so because I was writing and I had all these songs and I was like, oh, maybe I can busk, maybe I can do this, maybe I can do that. But I think for me now, it's more of just a different type of art form I can express myself, which is private.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in acting, you don't get that privacy, really. Acting is a collaboration, with you and your scene partner and the person behind the camera, the stage manager, whatever form you're doing of acting. It's very collaborative. So to be able to sit in my room and write a song that only my ears are going to ever hear, I think is really special, and can't really take that away. I do plan on releasing a couple of songs, like just, you won't know, I'll just drop them and they're just going to be there. So maybe in the future, but for now, it's probably more of a private thing.
Also, I do have a question. Did you start learning the piano? Not
I
yet?
didn't. I didn't. I had to actually learn the piano for a role. And they assured me, they were like, oh, it's really easy. Like I kind of know how to play chord. Like I know the chords and I know stuff. And they're like, oh yeah, it's super easy. Like, don't worry about it. It'll take you like 10 minutes to learn. I was like, all right, sweet. And they literally give me the most complex piece of piano I've ever seen in my life to learn. And so I'm spending like the next week, like trying to figure out how to do this thing. I couldn't do it. So they had to get someone else in to play it. But yeah, it's hard. So that kind of blew up my dreams of learning the piano. And yeah, I don't think I'll ever learn it.